On a luxurious cruise ship, a bright student named Gao Chen-yu bravely approaches Elin, the most admired girl in school. The entire crowd erupts in cheers as they witness this bold act of affection. Meanwhile, a disinterested student named Qin Tian pays no attention to the heartwarming scene. He's engrossed in watching Master's wilderness adventure vlogs, lost in the exciting tales of outdoor exploration. As the weather suddenly takes a turn for the worse, the ship finds itself amidst a storm. Panic sweeps through the passengers, and they hurriedly retreat to their cabins. Amidst the chaos, Qin Tian can't help but ponder the mention of the Titanic. However, his musings are cut short when he realizes he's too far from safety. Without hesitation, he dashes off in search of refuge. In his rush, Qin Tian manages to grab a floating object before the ship succumbs to the tempestuous sea. Darkness envelops him as the ship capsizes, and the wilderness adventure vlog system activates. Struggling against the waves, Qin Tian finds himself washed ashore on a mysterious island. Disoriented yet alive, he scans the surroundings, finding himself utterly alone. Amidst the uncertainty, Qin Tian discovers a cache of coconuts nearby. Remembering the knife he purchased after falling for Master's vlogs, he's relieved he can put it to good use. With the refreshing taste of coconut water, a memory resurfaces, a system notification he'd heard while unconscious. Suddenly, a novice package appears before him, offering books on plants and animals. Intrigued, he absorbs the knowledge, which now seems to reside in his mind. This newfound awareness allows Qin Tian to decipher information about the coconuts around him. Just as he's getting accustomed to his isolated surroundings, a piercing scream shatters the silence. He rushes toward the source and stumbles upon Elin, locked in a life-or-death struggle with a venomous snake. Acting swiftly, Qin Tian defeats the snake, saving Elin from harm. Though grateful for his intervention, Elin can't help but feel a twinge of self-consciousness. She wonders if her appearance isn't captivating enough, as Qin Tian didn't seem to notice her. Despite her doubts, they introduce themselves, and a connection begins to form. Their unlikely companionship blossoms as they share coconuts and water, drawing comfort from each other's presence. Curiosity gets the better of Qin Tian, and he inquires about Elin's phone. Her reply is disheartening. She's lost all her belongings. Nevertheless, Elin clings to hope, believing rescue teams will come to their aid. With practicality in mind, Qin Tian suggests they start a fire to ward off insects and snakes. Elin is unsure, but Qin Tian's resourcefulness prevails. After an hour of searching, Qin Tian's brainstorming yields no results, but Elin's keen eye spots a discarded plastic bottle. Ready to discard it, Qin Tian stops her and seizes the opportunity. Gathering wood and grass, he ingeniously employs the bottle's magnifying effect to ignite a flame. The fire dances, illuminating their newfound partnership and signalling the dawn of their island adventure. Before we continue, take a moment to answer the question of the day. What would you bring on a desert island if you were stranded? Comment down below for a chance to be shouted out. Now back to the recap. Later at night, Elin's mind raced with worries about starving before rescue arrived. Qin Tian, wanting to ease her anxiety, confidently assured her that help would arrive in just a few days. He explained that they could survive for a week with the resources they had. Although he didn't feel great about lying, he knew he had to do it to keep Elin's spirits up. To their fortune, Qin Tian spotted a snake, an unexpected source of food. He quickly butchered it, and Elin, curious yet repulsed, asked if it was their dinner. Qin Tian confirmed, and Elin swore she wouldn't eat it. Qin Tian went on to cook the snake meat, exclaiming its deliciousness with every bite. Elin, trying her best to ignore him, found it increasingly challenging as his praises for the odd meal continued. Unable to resist any longer, she stopped him and hesitantly grabbed a piece of snake meat. To her surprise, it tasted better than she anticipated, and she began to enjoy it. Qin Tian was pleased that they had encountered the snake, though he wondered about the strange system that had just rewarded him points for lighting a bonfire. Perplexed by the system's appearance, Qin Tian couldn't help but ponder its purpose. He feared the consequences of revealing its existence to Elin, worried they might be subjected to experimentation. As he delved deeper into the system, he discovered similarities to the ones found in video games. His curiosity led him to an exchange store where he could spend his points. Yet, his excitement waned upon realizing that everything was quite expensive, and his points were limited. Closing the exchange store, Qin Tian lay down, formulating a plan to sustain themselves by gathering fish and shrimp from the shore. He glanced over at Elin, who was already sleeping soundly, and decided to discuss the system with her the next day. A few hours passed, and Qin Tian was suddenly jolted awake by the biting cold. He noticed Elin shivering as well. Quick thinking led him to stoke the campfire and wake her up. Elin, startled and disoriented, initially misunderstood the situation and panicked. Qintian managed to calm her down and persuaded her to get closer to the fire to stay warm. The temperature discrepancy between day and night puzzled him, considering their proximity to the equator. He suggested they huddle together for warmth, an idea met with hesitation by Elin due to her concerns about physical closeness with a boy. However, seeing Qintian shivering too, she realized the necessity of the situation. Setting aside her initial apprehensions, Elin decided to take action. Blushing and a bit flustered, she asked Qintian to close his eyes, causing him to wonder about her intentions. In an unexpected move, she started undressing, citing scenes from movies as her inspiration. Qintian explained that such scenes were only possible with thick clothes, which they clearly didn't have. Convinced, Aylin wrapped her arms around him, finding solace in their newfound warmth. Morning brought relief from the cold, and Aylin woke up to the beauty of daybreak. The sight of low tide intrigued her, and Qintian took the opportunity to search for stranded crabs and shrimp, determined to secure their breakfast. Despite some struggles, they managed to collect enough food to start their day. Later, Qintian started preparing the crabs, while Aylin wondered why he threw away the carapace with meat. Rao, Qintian explained that crabs are cold, which can make your stomach uncomfortable while grilling their catch. Qintian suggested building a refuge in the forest. The beach is colder at night and they are at risk. He also mentioned that the forest has more resources. Before leaving for the forest, they needed water and a signal for help. They looked up at some coconuts, and Qintian removed his belt, turning it into a bipedal rope to climb the tree. He told Aylin to get away and began plucking coconuts. He was glad the fresh coconuts had more water, which he poured into a bottle. Qintian told Aylin to throw away the coconuts she was carrying. Aylin found it wasteful, but Qintian warned her about vomiting and diarrhea from too much coconut water. Leaving the beach with a help signal, the two traversed the forest and took a break. While replenishing their liquids, Aylin asked Qintian why he kept observing small bushes along the way. Qintian mentioned that the snake from yesterday usually lives in fresh water. Aylin got excited, knowing there was fresh water nearby, and wondered how they could find it. Qintian pointed out a path free of grasses and branches, suggesting that animals might use it to get water. As they continued travelling, Aylin asked if Qintian loved outside activities. He claimed to be someone who loved outside activities without practical experience. Just then, Aylin heard something. Qintian heard it too and dragged Aylin somewhere, where they found a free-flowing body of fresh water. Aylin was excited, and Qintian washed his face with the water. Aylin also tried to drink it, but Qintian stopped her. They moved a bit further, and Aylin suggested taking refuge on the riverbank. However, Qintian reminded her that wild animals might bump into them. They found a flat area, and Qintian instructed Aylin to collect large leaves and branches, while he searched for wood to build a campfire and tent. Qintian quickly made a campfire with dried wood he found. He remembered passing by some trees that could be used for a tent, but he only had a knife. He found a rock at the riverbank, which he turned into an axe. Using the stone axe, he cut down a small tree, tied up the small trees he cut, and returned to their refuge. Aylin greeted him with banana leaves she had found, mentioning a banana field near the riverbank. With materials in hand, they started constructing a tent. Qintian planned to make a one-sided tent. He sharpened a tree branch and stuck it into the ground. The tent was built, but Aylin looked disappointed. Qintian claimed it would help expose the fire's warmth for their direct action. Suddenly, the system rewarded him with points for building a trash tent, making him laugh at the system's response. Now that they had a tent, the next problem was food. Seafood and coconuts were far from their location. Qintian decided to visit the banana field Aylin had discovered. However, their new problem was jungle mosquitoes that could cause fever if bitten too much. Aylin asked for help, and Qintian attracted the mosquitoes with a whistle. He burned leaves to smoke out the mosquitoes, improving their condition. Qintian suggested keeping watch for wild animals, but Aylin was already fast asleep. He laid her down and decided to keep watch himself, using the time to make some rope using tree bark. The morning sun rises, and Aylin awakens, feeling refreshed from her sleep. As she opens her eyes, she notices a rope that Qintian had made, but instead of a friendly gesture, he threatens her, saying she has to do the night watch next. Aylin quickly apologizes and offers to take the night watch, hoping to avoid any conflict. However, Qintian doesn't seem to trust her words. He saw her dozing off while sitting, and that made him doubt her commitment. Curiosity takes over, and Qintian asks Aylin where the banana field is. With a finger pointed in the right direction, Aylin helps him locate it. As they venture closer, a patch of nearby bushes catches Qintian's attention. Among the leaves, they find raspberries. Excitedly, Aylin picks one and takes a bite, but her face scrunches up. They're too sour, not ripe yet. After some more searching, they finally reach the banana field. With determination, Qin ties a rope to a rock and tosses it at a banana stalk, trying to bring one down. However, the tree snaps and the banana bunch tumbles down, hitting Qin on the way. He holds up a banana and offers it to Elin. She declines, so he peels it and takes a bite himself. The banana is hard and raw, prompting Elin to mention it. Qin explains that wild bananas with huge seeds like these are inedible. The idea of eating meat comes up, and Elin is curious. Qin shows her a banana leaf with a worm on it. He claims that this banana worm has more protein than buffalo meat. Back at their camp, they grill the worms, and to Elin's surprise, she enjoys them even more than the snake meat they had before. Intrigued by Qin's resourcefulness, Elin watches as he fashions a stone hammer, earning points from the system. She wonders why he's so happy about it. What will happen next? Find out next time by staying tuned for our future recaps. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great recaps.